Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that right now. Hit that subscribe button right below. We're on to Friday, the third annual Black Friday game. Chicago Bears at the Philadelphia Eagles with massive playoff implications. Not just playoff implications, seeding implications here. Just a couple division leaders here. NFC North leaders, Chicago Bears, and the Philadelphia Eagles leading the East, 8-3 for both teams. Eagles favored by 7, the over-under 44.5 from our friends over at FanDuel.
Yeah, I mean, that tells you something about what Vegas, the man in Vegas, thinks of the Chicago team, if nothing else. I mean, they're on a run now of what, like 8-1 in the last 9 games, something like that?
Yeah.
Back-to-back losses to start the season, and then this run of much more impressive results. But the man in Vegas is still like, yeah, but against a really good team, they're still 7-point underdogs.
Couple things true here. They do have this negative point differential still. You could easily just throw out the Lions game and say, okay, you take away 152 to 21 game, and it balances things out. But just a fascinating run here. You know, 2 25 to 24 wins, the 47 to 42 comeback against the Bengals, the 24-20 comeback against the Giants, 19 to 17 comeback against the Vikings, and then last week, not so much a comeback, but more of holding on to a 31 to 28 win against the Steelers. They're doing a great job of finding ways to win, creating a little bit of late game magic. I know we spent a lot of time talking about Caleb Williams and some of his missed throws the other day. That's not necessarily the point here. I think this offense absolutely trending in the right direction. It's not consistent every week, right? There's some weeks where they're running the ball a little bit more effectively. There's other weeks where it's Caleb Williams' legs that are doing the trick. I thought last week it was the scheme, the passing offense. I thought they did a great job just creating space in the middle of the field and a lot of big play opportunities, including 4 verts against cover 3, which Mike Tomlin wanted no part of talking about last week.
Though he did respect the question.
He absolutely respected the question, but didn't want to explain why he was playing 30-year-old archaic spot drop cover 3 against 4 verts, and it was a wide open touchdown for DJ Moore. We'll talk about that when the Steelers game comes up. But anyway, I think this one, an Eagles defense that contests a lot of throws, makes life difficult with their pass rush and their coverage. It's going to be a challenge for this Bears offense in the way they've been going with Ben Johnson here.
Yeah, and look, what we said last week, the fact that Caleb Williams made a few major bad mistakes in that game that didn't show up in the box score, I mean, that can be true at the same time as directionally, I think he is absolutely going in the right direction with him and Ben Johnson at the helm. And so even though his, like a grade or whatever, like I'm sure his PFF grade wasn't great in that game because we're talking about at least 3 pretty catastrophic turnover-worthy plays, including that end zone fumble thing, which is like, I imagine that got a pretty, like that could have been a -2 based on how he played that, right? So his grade, I'm sure, sucked in that game. But overall, I think you are seeing a much more in rhythm, efficient, in control version of Caleb Williams as the season progresses.
Yep.
And that means the ceiling for this offense and for Caleb Williams is still through the roof. Like, that guy still has number 1 overall talent, potential, ability. The receiving weapons around him are still really, really good on paper, the same way they were heading into the season. Like, there are still reasons to believe that this offense is capable of pretty spectacular things.
This feels like one of those games, though. It's a great battle up front with the Eagles' defensive line, which, look, it's not as dominant as it's been at points in the last 10 years, but still really good. Against the Chicago offensive line that's been excellent.
Yeah,
now.
And additions have made a difference. I mean, bringing in
Jalen Phillips.
Phillips has made a huge impact on this defense. Like, they knew that, right? Like, you could see they brought him in, and day one he was starting. They didn't
16 pressures in 3 games,
right,
by the way.
But they didn't just like ease him into the lineup. They were like, oh man, we've stolen Jalen Phillips. Like, that guy, day one, his first week in, he's in there as a starter and played like a starter's representative chunk of snaps. They're moving him around, like they're doing the stuff that teams do when they have high-end pass rushers and know they can make an impact. So, like, Jalen Phillips hasn't just added to the depth of the defensive line. He's come in and upgraded the starting unit.
Yeah, so I think that battle, right, the Eagles' defensive line against this Bears' offensive line is going to be a key one. The other one, too, remember 2 weeks ago we saw Eagles-Lions, right, the NFC Championship that never was. You also get Vic Fangio now against Ben Johnson, the other NFC Championship matchup that never was. Ben Johnson, who's as good as anybody now at scheming up, getting players into space, and what he's done, and then Fangio, who has done a great job, obviously, for a long time in his career, but creating pressure without blitzing, compressing passing lanes, allowing underneath throws, but tackling and still not giving up big plays. So I think that's an awesome matchup there. And thinking about how the Bears have done an excellent job attacking the middle of the field, and how the Eagles have recently invested in really good linebackers, right? In Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond and Jahad Campbell in the first round. So there's a lot of just schematic matchups Friday at 3 that are going to be fun to watch in this one.
Yeah, it's a really fun game, both sides of the ball.
But it's it's a huge one. Bears fans, man, this is it.
Well, this is your chance, right?
Yeah,
like you've gone on this run.
Respect idea here. If you're going to be legit, this is the type of team you're going to be, and I think the Bears got a chance here.
Yeah, you've gone on this run, and that's great, and you put yourself in a great position. But currently, the man in Vegas has no faith in you. Well, this is a game that can get like this. This is the type of performance where if they show up, if they win this game, if they look good doing it, this changes their betting line going forward by like multiple points a game, right? If they go out there and show that actually they are for real against a team that, let's be real, I mean, Philadelphia has had their problems. Like, this offense is still not firing. It's not functioning, at least for full games, maybe for 30 minutes a game. But like, this offense is still ready to, implode at any given moment and just stall and not run the ball, not pass the ball. The opportunity is there for the Bears to go out there and win this game.
And so that side of the ball, the Eagles offense feels like they have the firepower to put up 50 any given week, and they do about half that, right? They do 21 quickly or 21 quickly on either side, and they never put the full 40 or 50 together. But an Eagles run game that has struggled, that has not gotten much room on the ground, a Bears run defense that has allowed a lot of yards before contact. So Philly has a chance to maybe get back to running the ball a little bit. And then, it's going to be interesting to see if they can get the pass game going again. Deshaun Wright had a couple good games with those incredible interceptions each of the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Can the Eagles create any semblance of consistency here?
And if that sustains, by the way, if Deshaun Wright has just decided to be a baller now, that's a pretty important development for Chicago.
Oh, absolutely. I heard Nick Foles breaking down the Eagles offense, and I thought he did a former NFL quarterback style job of describing what I've been trying to describe. He just said something similar, where it's like you just don't have a lot of schemed open plays.
Yeah, and we've been saying that for years. Like, for some reason, coordinator to coordinator, like, they've chopped and changed. It's not been the same group, every single year, but we've been saying that for so long and this is why you have to conclude that this must be at least a part driven by who Jalen Hurts is as a quarterback, that it remains this, that this is a characteristic of this offense throughout coordinators, that it is so much just one-on-one ISO routes on the outside, right? It's not, they're not pressing the easy buttons. They're not using sort of complex route combinations to free up guys. It is just every now and again, I'm going to throw the ball to A.J. Brown deep down the field, one-on-one on the sideline, or, here's same thing with Devontae Smith. It's just an inefficient offense. It's not drawn up the way these other offenses are. And I think you have to just determine there's something about Jalen Hurts that creates that.
Off the top of my head, there's a couple quarterbacks, and it's like, are we questioning Jalen Hurts?
And his numbers are good, by the way. Yeah. Like, it sort of works.
Hurts he's got good overall numbers. I know touchdown interception ratio is extremely overrated. Is he at 17-1 or something right now? Like, Stafford's getting all this credit for being 30-2.
Right.
Hurts is at 17-1. Whatever.
Golden age of touchdown interception ratio.
It is the golden age of TD-INT ratio. The Eagles have won a Super Bowl. They're always pretty good. Whatever. So it's not like a full knock on Jalen Hurts, but absolutely across multiple coordinators, the MO for the Eagles offense has been streaky, outside the numbers driven, and this idea that Hurts is going to kind of like deep drop, sit back, read the field, and throw an ISO route on the outside. Like, that's the oversimplification of what the Jalen Hurts offense has felt like these last few years. other quarterbacks through the years have had these type of tendencies where, say, Joe Burrow was taken a lot. I mean, there were questions about Joe Burrow. Why aren't they under center? Well, Joe likes working from the gun.
Yeah.
Why doesn't Ben Roethlisberger run play action under center? Well, he doesn't like turning his back to the defense. Tom Brady never ran RPOs because he didn't want to read one defender. He wanted to read the entire field. So there are other quarterbacks who have been successful through the years who had these quirks where they almost condensed the playbook, or they had these tendencies that lasted across coordinators, say. It's not unique to Hurts.
No.
But it's still worth mentioning here. Like, it feels like there's something missing to this Eagles offense.
And an inefficiency, I think, is the right way of describing it. It's not that it's bad. It's that clearly there's an inefficiency to what they do that can be exploited sometimes and can cause problems. It's like, to me, it's like the let Russ cook era in Seattle. It's like even when Russ was playing his best football and his PFF grades were 90+ every single year, and he was, driving this team to a Super Bowl and stuff, or at least holding up his end of driving them to a Super Bowl, there was always this feeling that this is somehow not optimal, right? There's something missing to this. Like, why can we not get a little bit more out of this? Why is there this like slight inefficiency to this offense? That's what this is. Like, it's the unique way that Jalen Hurts plays the game just creates this sort of slight inefficiency to what they do, which manifests in Philadelphia's case, I think, in being streaky. Like, that's the problem with this, if you're identifying one. It's not that it's bad. It's not that everybody sucks. It's that the way this has to operate, for whatever reason, with Jalen Hurts at quarterback, manifests in these big streaks of, like, nothing happening, right? The offense is just stalled for 20, 30 minutes in this game. And that, I mean, it can be a problem, but it isn't always.
What's your go-to? It's almost like when you hit a lull, when you have two straight 3-and-outs, what's your get back on track play? And they don't necessarily, I don't know that they have that, right? It's like, just, ISO route to A.J. Brown or whatever it might be. So that's what's so fascinating about the Eagles. Still a really good team. I love the trench matchup in this one, and I do think Chicago's run defense might give them an opportunity to get the run game going a little bit more here. So it's Friday, 3 o'clock, Black Friday. Third straight.
Shopping capital of the year.
Third annual game. I'll be putting my tree up, watching the game with the kids, decorating for Christmas. Big day here this Friday. We're going to go with this one. Eagles by 7 in Philly, by the way.
Similar to the last game, I think Philadelphia wins, but Chicago covers.
These are big spreads. They're playing a lot of close games, the Bears. So I'll take Chicago as well.
Straight disrespectful line.
Disrespectful. Harry's going to take Philly, though. He doesn't care.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a video.
You heard the man. Subscribe.